There are two ways to use artificial intelligence. The first way, the way most people use it, is to ask it a question and read the answer. That is a conversation. It is passive. It requires your presence at every step. The second way is to give it a job, hand it the tools it needs, and walk away. That is an agent, and it changes everything.
Welcome back to the Debrief. Last week we laid the foundation. AI is pattern recognition, not thinking. Tonight we're building on that because something happened in the last couple of years that took that pattern recognition and gave it hands, gave it tools, and gave it the ability to go do things without standing over its shoulder. We're talking about Agentic AI, and I'm going to start with a story that'll make it click immediately. Imagine you hired an assistant. Brilliant, tireless, available 24 hours a day, and costs less than your monthly coffee budget. But there's a catch. Every time you need something done, you have to stand right next to them, give it the instruction word by word, and wait for them to finish before you can give it the next one. You can't leave the room, you can't multitask, and you are a bottleneck. That's what most people are doing with AI right now. They're sitting in front of ChatGPT, typing one question at a time, copying the answer, pasting it somewhere, going back, typing another question, and it works. But it's like using a Ferrari to drive to the mailbox. Now imagine you could just tell that assistant, every Monday morning, pull the performance data from these 5 platforms, compile it into a report, write a summary, and email it to my clients. And then you walk away and it's there. That's the difference between a chatbot and an agent. And the difference is...
The difference is architecture. An AI agent has 3 capabilities that a chatbot does not. First, tool access. The agent can interact with external systems. It reads files, queries databases, calls APIs, sends emails, updates spreadsheets. It is not trapped inside a text box. It reaches into the software you already use and operates within it. Second, autonomy. You define the objective. The agent determines the steps. You do not hand it a recipe. You hand it a goal, and it constructs the path to achieve it. If the first approach fails, it recalibrates and attempts an alternative. This is not intelligence. It is iterative problem-solving within defined parameters. But the result is indistinguishable from initiative. Third, a feedback loop. The agent executes, evaluates the result, and adjusts. It is not generating a single response. It is running a process. Each step informs the next. This is what transforms a language model from a conversational partner into an operational asset.
Now let me make this a little bit more concrete. Say you run a marketing agency. Every Monday, someone on your team spends 2 hours pulling data from Google Analytics, Facebook ads, Instagram, LinkedIn, and your email platform. They compile the numbers into a spreadsheet, write a summary paragraph for each client, format the report, and then email it out. 2 hours, at least, every single Monday. 48 weeks a year. An AI agent does the entire job. It wakes up Monday at 7 a.m., pulls that data from each platform, it formats the report, it writes the summary, it sends the email, and nobody told it how to do it step by step. It was given the goal, it has access to the tools, and it executes. Your team member, they just got 2 hours back every Monday. That's almost 100 hours a year on one task. Now multiply that across every repetitive workflow in your business.
The multiplication is where the strategic value lives. A single agent handling a single workflow is an efficiency gain. A network of agents, each handling a different operational task, each feeding data to the others, is a transformation of how the business operates. The ceiling is not one automated task. The ceiling is an organization where every process that follows a repeatable pattern is handled by a system that never sleeps, never forgets a step, and improves with every iteration. That is not a fantasy. It is operational reality for companies that were ready for it. The question is whether your company is one of them. Most businesses are not ready, and the reason has nothing to do with technology. It has to do with process clarity. Before you can hand a job to an AI agent, you must understand that job completely. Every step, every decision point, every exception, every judgment call that the current human operator makes unconsciously. If your team cannot document a workflow clearly enough for a new human employee to follow it without asking questions, an AI agent cannot execute it either. The technology is not the bottleneck. Your operational documentation is. The companies extracting the most value from AI agents did the unglamorous work first. They mapped their processes, they cleaned their data, they standardized their tools, and then the agent deployment was the simple part. That is the truth that no one selling AI wants to tell you, because it means the first step is not buying their product. The first step is fixing your operations.
You know, he's right. And I'll add something to that from personal experience building these systems. The clients who get the best results from AI agents are never the ones with the biggest budgets. They're the ones who already run a tight ship. Clean data, documented processes, a team that understands how the business actually works under the hood. The AI just makes them faster at what they're already doing well. If that's not you yet, then that's okay. That's actually where the consulting side of what we do matters most. You don't skip to the agent, you get the foundation right first. And then the agent becomes the easy part. Agentic AI isn't necessarily the future. It's here right now, running in businesses that were ready for it. The question for your business isn't whether this technology works, it's whether your operations are clean enough to hand to a machine. Next week on the Debrief, we're pulling back the curtain on something most people find intimidating, but you shouldn't. How AI actually gets built. We're talking about code, models, APIs, and what's really happening behind the scenes. Don't worry, I'll make it painless. And if your business needs help figuring out where agents fit, that's what we do at Forge Nexus. I'll see you at the Debrief.